Very good, thank you. We've got a third in place, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Is there anyone here who would like to address the commission at this time? Anyone from the public on any matter? All right, if not new business, we are here today to interview the fourth finalist for the position of commission clerk. Pardon me? No, we do not need to go into executive session, and I've checked. We had it done in the past, so this is an open meeting. Maybe, we'll put that down there as a precautionary.
Well, I make a motion that we go into executive session to include all of the commissioners and the candidates under consideration one at a time.
Been moved. Could we go into executive session? Let me get a point of information. Yes. I was pressing the request to speak. I'm sorry. I didn't. I just missed before everything started. After you opened the meeting, and I think you got Ms. Lynch's attention. So, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll yield to you. I'm going to still make my motion, but.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean it wasn't registered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, okay.
Your button ain't working just the same.
I guess. I'd like to make a motion that this meeting be postponed for 2 weeks. I might get a second and speak on it.
Second.
Moved and seconded that this meeting be postponed for 2 weeks. Speak? Yes. Coming here today, I look at the agenda for this meeting being distinctively different from what I received via email. I assume it was on last Thursday or Friday. It was very vague. It just stated special meeting, the date, and we'll interview applicants for the commission clerk's position. And then I think the footnote was down there, said interviews may be held in executive session as it's listed here. However, I come today and I see a more expanded agenda and states that we will select the person for the commission's clerk position. Now, if that was the information that was sent to the official journal, I don't think we have given proper notification to the citizens just as to what was going to transpire here today. And I see we have a section on here saying citizens' comments. And secondly, I understand that, but I'm stating if this is the official meeting agenda, then the official meeting, the notification, public notification should have been submitted and expounded too for the citizens. That's my concern. Secondly, I think we have met a number of times in committee. And it has always been my understanding of a committee as a section, a microcosm of the macro, of the whole, that will be given a charge to focus on that particular charge, come up with a solution from that particular committee, bring it back to the full body, get the full body concerned involved, then get them to vote on the recommendations of the committee. I don't think that has transpired. The last notification I received as to the applicants was, I think, it was narrowed down to 12. This is my first time hearing that we're down to 4 that I see here. And I believe I've seen only one official minutes from this committee, Personnel Policy Committee, relative to this issue. And I think we've met a number of times. So therefore, I am not at this particular point in time prepared to make a final decision on the commission clerks today. And I hope that in light of the situation that I've just mentioned, I would like some more information. I would like to hear, see some minutes from those particular committees, how we arrived at this point in time. And that being my reason for asking for a 2-week postponement of this action today. Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Ms. Lynch?
Okay, let me make sure you don't throw me a curveball today. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're not Are you talking about the entire meeting? Or are you talking about selecting the clerk? Or are you talking about not doing the interviews? What are you exactly?
Well, certainly,
You're saying the notice was to interview these applicants?
right, that was the notice that I saw.
Okay. So that's been noticed
Okay?
properly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that the second part about selecting wasn't on the notice?
No, not, if that was the official notification that I received via email that went to the meeting.
So, I mean, we have people here, some from out of town, so you're not saying not do the interviews today, are you?
Well, yes,
just
I am
selected.
not doing the interviews also, because I had some issues relative to how we arrived at this point. The information I received, I think we were down to 12. I hadn't seen anything that stated we was down to 4 until I saw this on the agenda.
Okay, well, let me say this, and I'm not the chair of that committee, I'm just a member of the committee, Commissioner Epperson. But I thought we had notified everyone that we were going to narrow the list down to select persons for a second interview. I don't think that was anything that was not clear in my mind. And that process would take place at a date and time certain, which is today. And I guess, you know, the part about the selecting a person, I don't think there's maybe not a rush to do that today, but certainly I think we are at a point where these 4 people that the committee has narrowed it down to, for them to have their second interview. I just don't know why we would put that off for 2 weeks. Because we've had the resumes, the initial interviews that we did. You know, that purpose was to cut it down to a manageable list of people that the entire body could consider. And I don't know what else waiting 2 weeks would have any impact on that. But if if you needed some additional time to think about who you would select after today, I don't have a problem with that. But not going forward with the interviews is not, really something that I could support. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lynch. Commissioner Jenkins?
Yeah, I somewhat agree with Commissioner Lynch. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion to just continue that part of the agenda that requires us to select a person today. Let's continue that part until for 2 weeks for a special meeting, or either at our first meeting in September. I'd like to make that amendment.
Second.
Can I speak on it?
1 second. It's been moved and seconded that we conduct our interviews today and delay final selection for 2 weeks. Does that understand it?
That's correct, Mr. President.
Very good. You'd like to speak?
Yes, sir. I have no problem with the process that was involved, and I would think that these candidates are probably ready to do what they're going to do today. I would not want to, put that off. The names are published here. There's a couple of them I know, but there's a couple of them I do not, and I think it would be helpful to me if we heard from all 4 today. And I did not attend any of the interviews, but that's on me. It wasn't because I couldn't have. My schedule just did not allow me to. But I have no problem with the 4 names that have been produced. I have no problem with the process. 2 of these people I know I'm going to be hearing from and actually probably meeting for the first time today. And it would be helpful to me if I have a little bit more time to digest it as far as the selection aspect is concerned. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Jenkins. Mr. Cox?
As the chairman of this committee, we were given a task to work with Human Resources to narrow down a selection, which we have. We have our 4 candidates here. It was not done fly by night. It was done in an orderly fashion. If the minutes were not brought up in a timely manner, I'll apologize for that on behalf of the clerk's office. The 4 people we have here today are ready to go. I cannot see postponing this would help or hurt them, especially for the one that is out of town. I can tell you that these are the top 4 candidates that came before us, and out of the, how many,
303.
300 applicants, these are your top 4. So I would ask that we go ahead, do this today on the original motion. I think the original motion, or has there been a motion to carry the whole thing through? If not, I'd like to make an amended motion, but I can't do that either.
Anyway, that's already on the agenda.
Okay, I'll just tell you that the top 4 are here. I would like to go ahead and get it done today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Commissioner Baker?
Well, and I was thinking the same thing, in the last meeting we had after the last interviews, we made that decision that we were going to actually choose a clerk today, and how it got not put on the agenda, and it's not on there because I pulled it up, my email up, and it's not on there.
But it was on, I believe this is, with the hard copy you got in the mail, was the same as this.
But the email, when I just
Well, you
put
get the
it up,
email first,
it's not on there.
The hard copy
what was
is
it?
this agenda.
And I thought it was the work of the committee to actually choose the top people to be chosen, or the ones we brought before the board. After we decide who are the top candidates for the position, then we bring them to the board, and the board interview them and make a decision. So, I can't support that either for us waiting, because we got some coming in from out of town. One of the candidates I do know, she came in an hour and a half from out of town, so.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Just as a note, may I interject here? I don't mean this in anything. The committee was asked to do this. We met in excess of almost 12 hours, 4 times to pare this list down. Every member of the committee was at every meeting. No committee member missed a meeting. We had several other commissioners at different times not on the committee attend the meetings. So whether we take care of business tonight or not is irrelevant. I'm confident that under Mr. Cox's leadership, the committee did its work. It did its work well, did its work thoroughly. We had 300 candidates. 30 of them were eminently qualified. We culled it down from 30 to 12 or 13, interviewed those individuals, a half-hour minimum, some went over, good interviews. So, I'm convinced that the process was open, everybody was notified in a timely manner, and that the work was done well. So, Mr. Thibodeau, my concerns have been echoed. Ms. McCullough.
Yes, prior to Commissioner Lynch second and Commissioner Jenkins' motion, I wanted to withdraw my second.
On what motion?
On Ken's motion.
Okay.
Yeah, but, jumped right in, so.
All right, gotcha. Commissioner Dominic.
Clerk, Jerry, the hard copy we had, that was what was mailed out, correct?
I'm not sure. Ms. Samuels is saying yes, that it was.
Well, this is, and the email was...
Posted? Yes.
Okay.
We get copies in the mail of the posted agenda. This is the way it's posted.
What you're saying is, let's go ahead, go forward, interview these guys. The recommendation of the committee and its chairman is interview them and make a decision today.
Yes. Anyone else first round? Okay, have Ms. Lynch.
Well, I have one question.
I'm sorry. Call.
I'm sorry. I just want to know what could we accomplish by waiting, by interviewing and waiting to make a decision. That's my question. I don't. If I understood that, maybe I'd be clearer about waiting. I don't know what we would accomplish by interviewing and waiting to make a decision.
Well, I think, first of all, I want to say again now, I don't have any criticism of the process or the work of the committee, and I think you did a great job bringing these names back. I can only speak from my perspective. I'm meeting some people and talking to a couple of these people for the first time today, and there are a couple of them I know simply because they're in-house and they work here. I would have liked a little bit more time to just kind of review it and match the people up as far as a decision, and that's why I was saying I don't want to stop anybody from going forward to interview today, because if I came here today prepared to be interviewed, I want to go on and get it over with.
Mr. Jenkins. I'm going to humor you and allow you to finish that, but you jumped two other people. Carl was talking, he wasn't specifically.
Excuse me, Mr. President, forgive me. I'm sorry.
It's okay, maybe Mr. Epperson will forgive you. Ken?
Just let me know when I can talk about it.
Okay, Ms. McCullough, you saying you're withdrawing your second to my motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I also understand that what we have here today is what came to us in the mail, and this is what was posted officially to the media. Okay, well, I will say that I did not open my packet that I got in. I went strictly from my email. So, that being the reason, and you withdrawing your second, so I'll have to go with this because those are my concerns. I went strictly by what I got off of the email, which was not on there. Am I correct, the email that I received?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Had I seen this, it would have been a different story. So, my motion withdrawn, so they please, Mr. Jenkins, I assume.
As point of order, if there's no motion, then there's no motion. There's Mr. Jenkins' motion. It's now a motion, not an amendment.
Okay.
His is the motion. Is the motion. Becomes the main motion. That's correct. Commissioner Baker?
Can he repeat it then? That's what I need to know. Repeat your motion.
Well, we need to repeat it. Okay, please repeat your motion.
Okay, my motion is to move forward with the interviews of the 4 candidates today and to continue the actual selection of that individual either for 2 weeks at a special meeting or at our first meeting in September. That's what my motion is.
Okay, so any more discussion on Mr. Jenkins' motion? All right. I'm sorry, Commissioner Lynch.
Just in all fairness to not only the applicants, I mean, we spent, Ms. Bryant,
Yes,
we spent about, what, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 on this search? I mean, what was the total amount?
Yes, it was a little over $15,000.
Spent $15,000 on this process.
Questions answered.
And
We don't know.
while I know probably there are some people that have already made up their minds, there are some of our colleagues who did not get the benefit for whatever reason. You know, normally, when it's a committee, it's a committee. Some people are able to come outside of their committee assignment, but we've had a little bit more time to chew over the persons, and not only to look at these 4, but to look at the 12 and to look at I don't know how many we started with, 24? I don't remember what the numbers were. But certainly the committee has had a little more time and a little more, I guess, skin in the game on looking at these candidates. And then today, I guess there's another process that'll take place that may be some of the same questions, it may be different questions, but if you go down to 2 people, I think you could be a yay or nay out of those 2, but we're really down to 4, and I don't think it would be a bad thing if we had a little time. I don't know if we need 2 weeks, but if we had a little bit more time to really mull over when we cast that one vote, that it'll be for the person that we think is the best, after considering everything, and knowing that we're asking some of our colleagues to just base their vote on what they see today, as opposed to what we saw throughout the whole process. Thank you.
Mr. Jenkins?
Well, I think Commissioner Lynch just summed up what I was trying to say, pretty much so. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Pearson?
That's what we did. We based our assumption on what we saw that one time. We're going to interview these people one time.
But you weren't selecting anybody.
But we selected them to get to this point.
But you weren't selecting them to be the clerk.
Right,
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's an important job, and it's a big difference. And I don't want to prejudice.
I'm through, Mr. President.
Mr. Cox?
I would go as far as interviewing today, decide on Thursday, at our meeting on Thursday. But we can't I'd rather do it all today, because realistically, we've all interviewed people and hired them with one interview. We've spent time and effort with these candidates, and I can tell you, this is the cream of the crop. Now, postponing it is not going to do anything but just cause problems. I can tell you, it will be inconsiderate of the candidates, I believe, if we postpone this past Thursday. So, you want to make that motion, since I've already discussed it? I can't make a motion.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Hold on. What do you want to do? I'll make an amended motion that we interview the candidates and decide on Thursday.
Second. You should have started out your conversation by that.
Well, I apologize, but
You're not getting a pass, you know better.
I know.
I couldn't hear his motion. What did he
Commissioner
say?
Thibodeau?
I didn't understand.
She doesn't have a motion.
Oh, okay.
There's a question. Let's move for the question. The chair seconds. Let's vote on calling for the question, please. Question's been called for. Okay. We will vote on Mr. Jenkins' motion. It is the only motion on the floor. Proceed with interviews until our next regular scheduled meeting, or first meeting.
Well, he didn't, I don't think he specified.
What,
He didn't say
did he
what.
amend, I thought he amended that.
No, he did
I
not.
understand. I didn't start out with an amendment, which I should have, so I agree to that.
Well, can I amend my amendment?
No, that motion I'm calling for. The question's been called for. What we need to do is vote on the motion. That's where we're at right now.
Would you repeat the motion?
Yeah, please. We will proceed with the interviews today, select a candidate, a special meeting the next day that we're assembled. In 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from next month.
He never said
No,
that. I didn't want to tie down the time, Mr. President. I said either at some point, at some point, which I would like to be Thursday. I said at some point.
You weren't specific.
I was specifically tying down a new.
I thought that the discussion I heard was 2 weeks. Where'd that come from?
Those are just suggestions. Those are suggestions.
Okay, hold on. Now you want to change, you want to clarify your motion, or change your motion, basically?
Let me clarify and change my
Come on,
motion.
say.
We heard it.
Well, let me clarify it. I want to clarify the motion. The motion is,
Mr. Jenkins, we've already voted to call for the question.
I think you asked me to clarify it.
Well, it doesn't matter. We voted to call for the question. Mr. Spears, could you retract a little bit and tell us exactly what Mr. Jenkins' motion was?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't fix that up. What he said, some future date.
Some future date.
At our next meeting or some future date was the best I got out of it.
Okay. At our next meeting or some future date. Listen, our rules are our rules.
Thursday.
Okay, then however it's interpreted is how it has to go down. There's fairness. I mean, Mr. Epperson doesn't have a chance to amend a motion once it's in place, or nor does Coach or you, and I mean, if we start that, we're not going to like where we go in the future. So, the motion, some future date to be yet determined. That is how the motion is stated. Okay, vote on the motion, please. Motion fails. Okay.
I'd like to make another motion.
Pardon me?
Yeah, just recognize.
Okay. Please.
I'd like to make a
Clear on your
motion.
motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with the interview of the 4 candidates and continue the actual selection of that person until Thursday's meeting.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Jenkins and seconded by Commissioner Lynch that we conduct our business and interviews today and vote on the selection Thursday. Any discussion on that motion? Commissioner Dominic.
Got one, because I called for the question, I didn't get voted, didn't get time to talk. But I think I ought to go ahead and do it today. If you interview these people today, and you come back Thursday, and we try to select, we have people from out of town, and they're going to be at a disadvantage, because you may have two that are going to be sitting here Thursday when they're voting, and you're going to have two that are out of town that are not going to be here, or they're going to have to drive all the way back from Monroe or wherever they're from, to show their presence, and I think it's going to be a little bit unfair. I think they need to be here, and I think we need to go ahead and do it today.
Thank you, Commissioner Dominic. Any other discussion? Mr. Jenkins?
I'm simply saying, I think it's an important position. I'm meeting some of the people for the first time today. I don't know if they necessarily have to be here for us to select them, do? I mean, all we got to do is notify them if they've been selected or not.
Would you not be here if you were going to be considered?
Probably so.
Okay.
Probably so. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's mandated that they need to be here for us to do it. But my point simply being, it's an important position, and I mean, I don't want to prejudice a couple of people involved here simply because I have not had a chance to really digest that situation and compare it as thoroughly as possible. Now, most of you know I make a habit of showing up at the meetings, and if I'm at a meeting, it had to be a pretty good reason. It had to be a pretty good reason. I'm simply saying that give us a little time to meet these people and to kind of speak on what they've said to us and kind of compare it with the others who are involved that I have a little bit more knowledge of and make a decision that way. I just don't see what a couple of days is going to do. I gather some people probably decided that may be fine, but I mean, if they decided, why did we put their names down? Anyway, that's my point.
Commissioner Lynch?
I just wanted to ask either of the four candidates, would there be a barrier to you being here Thursday if you felt, that was necessary?
That is so unfair.
I don't think that, Stephanie, that's not an order. That's not an order with what we're doing right. We're not even there. We've got a motion on the floor and that's what we're discussing.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion? Vote, please, on Mr. Jenkins' motion. Motion fails. We're going to move on with business. We'll interview the four candidates, and we'll interview them in order. Pardon me? Yes, Mr. Thibodeau?
Move that we go in executive session for the purpose of interviewing the four candidates one at a time.
All right.
It's a 12 commission.
You need to name who you would like to remain.
Well, I guess we'll just go alphabetically. Top options would be first.
No. Name who you want to
I'm
run.
fixing to say that.
Okay.
I think the other people we need in the room would be the commissioners and the individual, the person being interviewed, and Jerry.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We're going to executive session. All commissioners remaining, the interviewee and commission clerk. Is there any discussion on that motion?
There's fun and get out.
Spies, no leave. Okay, let's vote on that motion, please. If we can. All right, we're in executive session.
I need more TV turned off out there.
Lucky, make sure the TVs and all that stuff are off.